vision experience over 4 years, and having to see how people have evolved, having to see how people have been made better. It gives us the push, it gives us the energy to keep on pushing. Yeah, so it's been a wonderful ride for us.
Okay, now let's look at young people in leadership. I remember at one time, there was this slogan that was very predominant in Nigeria, lazy Nigerian youths. I'm sure you heard that one time.
Yeah.
Okay, as purported by one of our leaders, you know. But the energy, drop off a comment or two, like, hit the like button, share, and of course, invite persons.
Modeling issue more. What are the patterns for right leadership? What are the requirements for effective leadership? Have we raised people enough to grow with that mindset? And are people that are leaders, have they understood that mindset? If they fix it right with their perspective, results will change.
Okay, now let's look at something, a concept that is being most times bastardized by other politicians. Many times politicians will say that they're here to serve the people and then call themselves servant leaders. Now, that concept in itself, is it directly proportional to what you're describing, that model of leadership? And if yes, how can that be really, made real as far as Nigeria, Akwa State particularly, is concerned?
Leaders exist to serve people, to serve an agenda, to serve people. And any agenda that must be termed an agenda is something that betters people. And so if somebody comes up tomorrow and says, and begins to act it, and says, I'm here to serve, first, the thing that would judge would be his actions. And another thing that would tell us is if this person is genuine, because I think it's difficult to see someone who is genuine with these things. Some people just do these things to manipulate people. But then for someone who is interested in being sincere, who sincerely wants to help someone, you would see it in the things that they do and in the consistency of that application of whatever servant leadership thing that they do. So I think it's important that not just doing it, they should be taught also to consistently deliver it. Don't tell me that you are a servant leader. Don't say it to me, show it to me, and much more than show it to me, let me see it consistently.
So key things here is action.
Yes.
And then consistent action.
Yes.
All right, let's put a pause here right now and take a short break, and when we come back, this conversation continues. Please stay. Still rise and shine, reaching from the stables of Spectrum Television, and we're talking leadership, especially, I want to narrow this down to young people, especially young people in leadership. And we still have a guest in the studio, and we're going to continue this conversation. And like I said earlier, this conversation live on Facebook and Instagram with the handle at Spectrum TV NG. Drop off a comment or two, like, hit the like button, share, and of course, invite persons to come join this conversation, and let's talk about leadership the way forward. All right, let's jump back into it. Now, just before the break, you did mention some things, and I brought up some points. The fact that talking about servant leaders has to do with, number one, action.
Yeah.
It's not words, action. And then action also has to be consistent. And that is the measure of how sincere the servant leader in quote is. Okay, now, how do you now judge between who is consistently doing this, but he's not a servant leader? Is there a possibility of that happening?
Yes, there is every possibility. You see, when it's not sincere, when it's not coming from the heart, you cannot be consistent at it.
Okay.
There's a particular chapter in C. Maxwell's book that is termed Leadership Gold, and he speaks as regards passion. It is difficult, heavily difficult for anybody to consistently do something without the availability of passion. If you start the servant leadership mantra in your campaign, when you are appointed, who you truly are would reveal itself. So anyone who is intentionally, consistently offering servant leadership is truly genuine.
Now, let's look at something. Sorry, just before you come in. Let's look at something real quickly. We have seen leadership many times. Leadership has come to a very wrong people have come to wrong perception of leadership, especially young people. Young people now have a mindset that, hey, leadership is all about me there and everybody else under me. And then again, I have the capacity to do whatever I want, whenever I want. And then the other dimension is the fact that most times young people think that when you're in a place of leadership, you're not accountable to anybody. Now, how has this worked out for Nigeria as itself? And then how exactly are young people supposed to see leadership?
Thank you so much for that question. I have always seen leadership to be a perspective issue, regardless of the level. At the national level, international level, state level, whatever it is, it's a perspective issue. What is someone's perspective of leadership? What's their mindset of leadership? What is their belief system? Because you see, if leadership must be done rightly, then our perspectives must be put in check. So at any level, at any, whether high or low, I believe that people should understand the importance of fixing their perspectives. So I'm here to. It's in an environment where people were not built. People would describe leadership as influence and leave it there. And so people were not built, people were not developed, people were not shaped. I knew after having discovered myself that this message was my call. That people must be taught to build others. And it's a rare message. It's not something that is common. I had the same issue of will people accept this? I'm young. That's not an advantage to some extent. I remember when someone asking me, "Do you have not gathered the experience required for this?" As someone said to me at the bank, "You have not gathered the experience quotient enough to stand in this matter of leadership." And I didn't care. There will always be people who will say no to it, who will say your message doesn't make sense. But you see, to everyone God has given a message to, He has given to them people. It is in your consistent stance of that message that you are bringing, because true leadership is a true leader is someone who is coming with a message. Once you have that message, people will come for it. People don't know how to deny value, no matter how blind or how arrogant they are. They don't know how to ignore value. The message that you have, you must understand first that it is important. You must understand first that someone requires that message. That's why all through the years I've been teaching it. Build. I don't care who is listening or who isn't listening. You see, by that resolve to stand at that post I have been given, many have come. We gathered about 300 or more young persons last year, November 6th, 2021, for a conference from someone who started from the back. So, because for a year plus on the social media and every platform I had across with me, I was pushing that message. And it drew 300 young persons to what we do currently. If you have the message and you know that it is given to you, it's a call for you, stand up and say it. People will not agree at first. Why would they agree? Stand out and then do a thing.
Okay, now before we call it a wrap on this session, quickly tell us what are those mindsets roughly for the benefit of those who are watching. We've talked about leadership mindset. We've talked about it a couple of times now. Give us hints practically. What are those mindsets that an average person must inculcate as a leader or someone who wants to take up leadership position?
I think we'll begin with vision. Leadership is incapacitated without vision. Your energy, your fierceness to run is because you have a vision. Vision is what leadership entails. You are taking people to somewhere, so you require a vision. It is important and necessary for true leadership. The next thing will be passion. That sense of empathy also, compassion. You need ability to communicate as well. You need integrity. Oh, dear young leaders, you require integrity. You require integrity. It is scarce in the market space today. You require it for living. You require it for long-lasting impact in leadership. Purity, for instance. we don't have too many young persons with leadership in leadership that are pure, morally pure, and we need that now. So we are not just teaching you to be successful at meeting targets. We're teaching you to be successful as a person. The next, I think, would be ability to build competence. That ability to push at something. The ability to take up responsibility, to take up tasks. We don't have this thing. I believe that young persons will lead someday. I believe it. I believe someone will have somebody who is 30, 35. But you see, if we have not built ourselves within us capacity, that ability to take up tasks, you see that you will send someone there and he will still be looking like someone who was sent. Because there has been no capacity, no ability, no mindset that says I can do this. It's a personal thing now. So I think that, and the ability to manage criticism. Our young people shy away from this. So I have stood at my ground for 5 years more with this leadership thing. I have been criticized, but I have been taught by mentors and fathers to consistently push regardless of criticism. Understand that criticism has its advantages, it has its disadvantages, and you are supposed to continue regardless of it.
So, just quickly, how do you manage criticism?
I think in the book Leadership Gold by John C. Maxwell, he says, understand first that criticism comes to your position as a leader first. So you don't take it personal. Secondly, he says, be able to decipher the baby, save the baby, and throw away the bath water. So if you say that you don't want criticism, you will not grow, because criticism helps to show you who you are. It shows you your strength. I think with criticism, I was able to tell that I'm a bit impatient. I discovered that I could assume a lot. I also discovered that I could ask somebody, do this for me in 1 day, in 24 hours. The task that takes 1 week. And you see, I observed, I got that on the basis of criticism. It is advantageous for your growth. So you take it in and just sift out the other parts. Just know that this person spoke this one out of grudge for me, and just put it on the side and apologize, sorry. But then don't say that because criticism came, I will throw it out. No, you will not grow. It will help to improve your boldness ability. So criticism is necessary for this. But if you have it every time, there's an issue actually.
Okay, well, let's jump into social media. We have a question. This question is pretty much one of the questions I think most young people want to ask. It has to do with the fact that when can someone know he's ready to lead? It's a two-pronged question. At what point does someone know that he's ready to lead? At what point? That's the A part. Finish with that, we'll come to the B part.
You will never come to that point where you feel you're too ready. I know my pastor, Pastor Zikatan, had to tell me, Paul, it's time, start. It is true that there is a time where you have to, they call it incubation process. A time where you have to stay and actually know your work. You have to learn a lot. There is that time. But you see, with most of us, we can stay there for life and say the time has not come. It never come, it never reach. That's what all of us will do. But you see, you have to start. You won't learn everything in your incubation process. Some things experience will teach you. So if you feel you have learned or gathered a few things, start.
Okay, now the second question, the B part of that particular question was, I like that question really. I didn't see that one coming. The question was, can we all be leaders? I think that's a very good question to ask. If we're all leaders, who's going to be the follower?
No, there are different sets of leaders. Those who are born leaders and
can
those
we
that
all
can
be
everyone
leaders?
be leaders?
I would answer that question.
Please do.
There is nobody born to be perpetually a follower. The cycle of leadership is that you should begin with following. But true leadership builds followers to become leaders. And every successful leader is a follower. It's a repetitive cycle. Can everybody be a leader? Yes. Everybody should be a leader.
Ideally.
The sphere of government is only 1 out of 7 spheres of leadership. There is art and entertainment. There is church, there is family life, there is business and finance. There are lots of them. So we are not building people to rise and become leaders only in government. Who would handle where Aliko Dangote is? Whatever sphere of influence you find yourself in, be the leader there. Don't say Samson will be the leader. He's born for it. Let him go. No. What has been your core? What motivates you? What drives you? You are a leader over that thing. Move. And we're not saying that you will be a leader because you will stay in a position. Position is just one out of how many levels of leadership. So right where you are, begin with that initiative, begin with that business, whatever it is that you find or what you may find yourself in, begin to take the lead from there. Your decision to become a better person than you were yesterday is you being a leader. Your decision to attain the task that you couldn't attain yesterday is you being a leader. So everybody has by all means has to be a leader. You should be a leader. Don't look at the political space alone. Don't look at education alone. There are things to do to become a leader. Everybody should be.
Well, interesting stuff. Many thanks for joining us on the show. It was nice having you. Such a young face with
so much
to offer.
Thank you.
And we hope to see that this eventually will get replicated in our society, and of course a lot of persons will have to benefit from this.
Yeah,
Thank you, Paul Udah, for coming on the show. We look forward to another session with you.